my birdcage is disgusting. I mean, it's not the worst of the worst, but it is not the best of the best. One, my birds are molting. There are feathers everywhere. There is poop everywhere. It is just crazy. Number two, obviously with incorporating vegetables into the diet now, there is just a lot more mess to deal with. And number three, I have been in a bit of a slump lately where it has stopped me from doing deep cleaning. You know, I just haven't really been in the best of mindsets to clean. It just seems really exhausting. It seems very daunting, and I just kind of think to myself, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow. And I've been thinking that for like the last week, 2 weeks, maybe more, I don't really know. All right, no more talking. We're going to go to the supermarket, get some cleaning supplies and some vegetables so I can make their chop later, and we're going to get into it. So let's go. So just for a bit of a reality check here, I'm going to show you the grossness of this room. I get a lot of comments from people saying like, oh my God, how do you keep your room so clean? Like, where's all the poop? Let me show you. Are you ready? So here we have my lovely poop mirror. Really gross, I know. My lovely little artists that have destroyed my mirror. I almost tripped over. Anyway, I love being raw and real with you guys because obviously my life is not perfect. This is really bad for me. Like, this is really bad for me. So this is the bottom of the bird cage. They are molting at the moment, so it looks like a crime scene down there. And then the bird cage itself, let's take a closer look. There's just poop all over the cage, poop all over their sticks, as we can see, and their toys. Still got fresh water, but it is blue because if you haven't seen my vet video, they are on antibiotics for precaution, so don't worry about that. And then obviously their paper down the bottom, which is pretty good. I only changed that yesterday. If you own birds, you know that there's gonna be poop everywhere. So you've had your warning, there will be poop. Let's get into it. So I've got a towel on the ground there so I can put everything from the cage on the ground and clean it myself. Usually I have a pressure washer outside and I just pressure wash the cage, obviously without the birds in it. And it is a quick, easy job, but I'm not gonna do that today because there would be no point in filming this video if I was doing that. I have some hot water mixed in with vinegar. It's about a 50-50 solution. It works really well. And I have to thank all the beautiful people that gave me that suggestion on my last cockatiel cleaning video because I had no idea that you could use vinegar. Fresh paper towel because we're gonna need it, and some unscented baby wipes.
You could be the one to make me wanna come through. Feel like being brand new over you.
Hiya.
Go away.
So I can't get the bird kebab and that stick out of the cage. They're kind of stuck there. So I'm just gonna leave them there. They're not even dirty anyway, so it's a bonus for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and start scrubbing all the poop off the bird cage. You can fly away, you know. You don't have to stay there. Okay, I'm on the floor now. It was a really bad idea to wear white while doing this, so learn from my mistakes, don't wear white. We need to go through and scrub all the toys now because they are just covered in poop. We love that. Usually I would just pressure wash them, obviously, or run a really hot bath with vinegar in it and then let them soak, and then they're easy to scrub. But that wouldn't be entertaining enough. So why am I doing this?
Long hair silhouette, champagne cigarettes. I try so hard to be something I'm not.
That was chaos. Oh my God. Please don't poop on me. She's like aiming for me. Okay, so now that the cage is all scrubbed and cleaned, I am going to put it all back together now. So that's the fun part. guys what and why I have these things in my cage. First of all, we have a cuddle bone. These are very, very important for calcium and also naturally trimming their beak down. I 100% recommend one of these. Like if you don't have one of these in your bird cage, what are you doing? These are known as calcium perches or pumice perches, whatever you prefer to call them. And I have 3 of these in my bird cage. I have 2 white ones and 1 green one. Calcium perches are really good for naturally trimming down their claws and their beak as well. Now there is a massive difference between pumice perches and cement perches, so do be careful when you are purchasing because your birds can accidentally ingest the cement particles when they're chewing on the cement part. So I tend to stay away from cement perches just because I don't want to risk that. Having cement in your digestive system would not be good, especially for your birds. Another negative of the cement perches is they can also cause damage to your bird's feet because they are so rough, whereas these are a lot softer. Like I could rub my finger along this and be completely fine, whereas if I did that on a cement perch, I'd probably have scarring. So this is one of their favorite toys, and it is unfortunately a rope swing, which can be quite dangerous in the bird community because birds can actually get the fibers stuck in their stomach if they chew or bite the rope. I've had this toy now for 3-4 years, I think, and they've never been bothered by the rope. Like they just don't have any interest in it. They literally just sit on top of this and sleep at night. That's great, but I am going to be replacing this toy either way just because I feel like it is really old and ratty now, and it is still covered in poop obviously because I am going to be replacing it. But I'm just hanging that up in the cage just for a couple of days just until I replace the toy because I've got something exciting coming in the mail. I've got this toy in there as well that they love to chew on. Every now and then I'll be like working on my laptop in bed and I would just hear like, I also like to hide little treats in that toy sometimes as like a little enrichment kind of foraging activity that they can do, and they love that. I've got a bird kebab in there as well. That's probably Emma's favorite toy. She loves the bird kebab, loves chewing it. As you can tell, there's a lot of damage around on the circles. Obviously we've got their chop bowl there. It's beige, it's pretty, I really like it. It's also made out of plant fibers, which is amazing, so we love that. I've got their seed mate here. It's just like a no mess feeder, which is amazing. They love this. I love this. Less mess to clean up because I remember when I didn't have this and it was just a constant cleaning zone. And don't use wet food in the seed mate because that will grow bacteria at a very fast rate. So just make sure you're always using the seed mate for just dry materials because we don't want our birds to get sick. Easy done. Got their water bowl there. Stainless steel is the best material to use because it's easier to clean. Like those plastic bowls you can get, they can develop bacteria and make your birds sick. So stainless steel is always the way to go. So all the perches in my cage, aside from this, I brought this one from the pet store, but all the other ones are from the great outdoors. They're from gum trees. I live in Australia, so I can easily go out into the bush and grab gum tree branches that have fallen. And what you do is you bring them home, you sand them down, either pressure wash them to get all the grime off, or you can put them in a hot bath with vinegar, scrub, do all that stuff, let them air dry, and then they're ready to go into your cage. And they are beautiful for cockatiels, obviously, because it's their natural habitat. Wild cockatiels live in gum trees, so, you know, bringing a bit of home to these girls, you know, a bit of gum tree, we love that. So if you are going to get branches and sticks from the outdoors, make sure that you know that they're from a safe tree, because if you get one from a poisonous tree, then you're gonna make your beans very sick, obviously. I sometimes hang little fruits and veggies from the cage, but they have favorited kale. Like they love kale. It's the one thing that I know if I can hang up in their cage, they're going to chew it. So I always just hang little bits of kale everywhere. I like to line the bottom of my cage with paper. It's just so much easier to clean up, and paper is the best liner to put at the bottom of your cage. And I've tested these to make sure that they don't run any ink. You know, you just wet the paper and make sure that the ink doesn't come out when you wet it. It's always good to just double check that because you don't want to be accidentally poisoning your bean. That's not good. So I keep all the teal's food in this tin here, and I got these little stickers from my friend Mimi. So that's Charlie and that's Emma, and they're so cute. I love them so much. So this is their food tin. Basically put both of these packets into this tin so I can just easily scoop it up and give it to them. So I use this brand Vetafarm. It's the Parrot Essentials Natural Pellets, and I find that this brand is the brand that my girls will eat the most of. There's another brand that I've tried and they just don't like their natural pellets, but these ones they love. Natural pellets are a very important part of a cockatiel's diet. Right, so I've just poured a bunch of natural pellets in the tin there, and then I just get this small parrot blend from Petstock. It's a dried vegetable and seed mix, a lot of sunflower seeds, but I try and pick them out as much as I can because they used to do one without sunflower seeds and then they got rid of it. It also contains grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables, and vitamins in this. I find that this is a better alternative to just plain old seeds. And I feel like I always have to say this just so I can remind people to not hate on me in the comments, but cockatiels are one of the few parrots that can actually have seed in their diet and be absolutely fine. What have I done? Why is this not opening? I need scissors, but I don't have scissors. Just pop that in. Oh, I just made a mess on the floor that I just vacuumed. All right, so mind the mess that I've just made on the floor. So I keep all the seed in this little pocket here, and I've got all the natural pellets there along with some seed here, and I just mix it all together. And they love it. Plus they get chop every single morning, so they have a really great balance of fruit, veg, grains, seed, and natural pellets. So speaking of chop, let's go make some right now. So I like to make my chop with the main ingredients of spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and carrot, but the cauliflower was kind of nasty, so I didn't use it this week. I also like to add in brown rice, and this week I got some brown rice with quinoa mixed into it to test it out, since I like to mix up the variety some weeks to keep the teals interested. I start off with measuring out half a cup of rice and washing it in this sieve that I have, and then added a cup of water to a pot and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiled, turn down to a low heat and let it simmer for 20 minutes. And during those 20 minutes, I like to wash, chop, and prepare all the veggies and pop them into my trusty food chopper that I got from Kmart for $8. I have a separate chopping board and chopper that I use specifically for the beans food so I don't cross-contaminate anything poisonous with their food. I also like to microwave some frozen peas and corn to add to their chop. If I don't, I will hear about it from Emma because she loves corn. People can be a bit weird when it comes to frozen vegetables for birds, but they're completely fine, don't stress. Now that our rice has absorbed all the water, I let it cool for a moment or two before adding it to the chop and mixing it through, and bam! We have some chop. I also like to sprinkle chia seeds on top of the chop every morning in their chop bowls, as it's a good source of nutrients and also soaks up the moisture from the chop. Some birds are just really picky like that and don't like moistured food, which is fair enough. I don't either. The chop usually lasts about 5 days in the fridge before I have to make another one, either because the birds have eaten it all or it goes a bit gross. Some people freeze their chop, but I have the time to make it fresh every week, so I do that. Obviously, it's not packed to the brim with toys and bits and bobs purely because my birds just don't spend enough time in there. They spend a majority of the time in my bedroom with me, just kind of hanging out, doing activities with me and all that stuff. They also have a foraging tray that I usually have, and I put like seagrass in it, but I'm cleaning it at the moment because it got kind of gross. But yeah, it's so important to have a good quality size cage for your teals, and obviously really good materials inside. I like to use natural looking toys as well. It's obviously my preference because I am a neutral gal, but also I like to go off what their habitat would be like in the wild. Like, they don't have any colored toys or anything in the wild. They have just wood, bark, and gum leaves to chew on. And if you guys would like a birdcage revamp video, which I eventually will do, please let me know down below, and also support my other videos because it means the world to me and also motivates me to make these kinds of videos. If you have any questions, send me over a DM on Instagram, because sometimes I do miss your comments in YouTube. I just don't get notified sometimes. You can leave a comment down below, but the best way to contact me would be on Instagram. So if you have any questions, hit me up over there. But without further ado, I am gonna love you and leave you guys. I will see you in my video on Sunday. So ciao for now.